This is Henry. Henry was brought into a local veterinary clinic. The severity of his injuries prompted their caring staff to call the Cleveland APL's Humane Investigations Team for suspected abuse and neglect. Although it's not entirely clear how Henry was injured, one thing was certain. The 10-month-old Papillon puppy had suffered horrible burns on his tiny back legs. The burns were likely caused by hot grease, and they had not been properly treated. When our Humane Investigations team saw Henry, they immediately brought him to the APL, where he received the extensive medical care and attention he needed. Due to the severity of the burns, Henry was placed on aggressive antibiotic therapy and pain medication. Secondary infection was a big concern due to the extent of his injuries. He had to have his feet soaked, covered in a cream, and then wrapped to protect his wounds. In the beginning, this had to be done every day, and then every other day for 10 days. The most remarkable thing about Henry was how patient he was during these uncomfortable treatments and soaks and bandage changes. Henry was then placed in the care of an experienced foster mom named Kim. Kim is one of the APL's unseen, often unsung heroes, a volunteer who takes in cats, dogs, and other animals and provides them with extra care, time, attention, and respite from the hectic shelter environment, all to prepare them for a new home. Kim took on every aspect of Henry's care, including applying the special ointments and creams that were needed to protect his wounds for the next several weeks. She was impressed with little Henry's spirit, noting that he never cried or fussed, even when his bandages were changed. Finally, thanks to our veterinary team's hard work and Kim's compassion, Henry was ready for adoption. It was time for him to find his new home.
He's named Henry with the French spelling since he's a Papillon, which is kind of a French breed. When we go for a walk, before we get to the driveway, he knows this is his house. He turns right in. So he's acclimated himself to the neighborhood. And may I say, he's a graduate of obedience school too. Intermediate.
Henry seems to enjoy the cat's company the most and seems to be learning the most from the cats. So, like if I put a laser on the floor and let him chase it, he will chase it as much as the cats. The other dog's like, it's a dot, let it go.
I don't think I've ever met such a happy little dog. He's
high energy.
He's high energy, yeah. He must have some terrier in him because he's just ready to go.
Yeah.
Ready to go from the minute his eyes open, and then by the end of the day, his battery's tuckered out.
Yeah. The first time he saw a firefly was this summer, and he was like, what is that? And then he went after it, jumping up in the air, and he likes to eat flowers. For some reason, if he sees a big flower,
He's got a little cow in him too. When we walk, he grazes on the grass as he's going along.
It's down the hatch.
From the minute he wakes up, he's smiling, and I don't know how it is that you could just see it in his eyes. They twinkle, and he just makes you feel that he's been through so much, and it's okay. Everybody can overcome. He's just a symbol of hope and of resilience. Henry's second chance is more a gift to us. We have been blessed with having found him, and he's filled a little emptiness in my heart, that's for sure. He knows we are his family, and that's such a nice feeling to think that he's processed that in his little Henry head.
This is BB. BB was found injured one morning in a cat colony he often visited. He'd been around for about 6 months and was reported to be skittish. When he arrived at the Cleveland APL, he was critically injured and in very poor shape. Though the origin of BB's injuries is unknown, because they were so pronounced, our staff suspected that he had been hit by a car. BB's lower jaw was dislocated and his upper jaw was fractured. He underwent an emergency procedure to place a wire in his lower jaw and suture the injuries in his upper jaw. The next day, he desperately wanted to eat. He tried and tried, but just couldn't. So our veterinary team placed a feeding tube on the side of his neck to bypass his mouth. They really weren't sure if BB would pull through, but they were hopeful and began feeding him through the tube. This soon became something BB would get excited about and anticipate, similar to opening a can of food for a healthy cat. He would lie down and knead his paws while being fed through the tube. Though he could not taste his food, he appeared to be expressing the satisfaction he felt in his stomach. After several days, he was able to eat a small amount of food on his own, although he still had to have supplemental feedings through the tube. After 2 weeks, our veterinary team was confident he could eat enough on his own, and the tube was removed. Then finally, after another 2 weeks, the wire was removed from his jaw. Through it all, our veterinary team was awed by what a delight BB was to work with.
Are you all better, mister?
His face was shattered, but his spirit never faltered. It also turned out he was not the skittish cat he was originally thought to be.
He likes the little rubber soccer balls, and I'll throw one out to him and he'll kick it back to me. So we play back and forth. The other day I threw one out, and out of nowhere one of his kids ran down the stairs and stole it right from him, and he just kind of sat there and went, "Wait a minute, that's mine!" The way his jaw was, it was all infected and busted up. If it wasn't for the Second Chance program, he would have never survived. And that would have just...
very good program.
Yeah.
Because these guys, I mean, they can't help what people do.
It doesn't even look like he was injured. It's amazing.
Every animal needs a chance.
Yeah.
The APL is doing wonderful work. Over the years, I've gotten cats and dogs from them, even a guinea pig. They just do wonderful work there.
So we just need more people to donate. That's what we need.
Henry and BB stories are not unique. Every year, thousands of homeless animals come to the Cleveland APL for a second chance. Some of them simply need a new home, while others need life-saving care. Thanks to the kindness and generosity of people who believe their lives have value, we can take their sad beginnings and turn them into happy endings.